What happens when you mix castor oil and baking soda? Something so powerful, so profoundly healing, that some doctors don't even believe it until they see it with their own eyes. I've seen swollen joints shrink in hours. I've seen angry red eczema patches fade in days. And I once knew a woman, a grandmother from the Blue Mountains, who'd suffered with a stubborn skin condition for over 10 years. She tried every cream, every prescription. Nothing worked. Then, she tried this. Within a week, her skin began to calm, heal, and finally, breathe again. This isn't a miracle. This is nature doing what it's always done when we get out of the way and let it. And no, this isn't about some magic potion from a secret jungle root. It's castor oil, something your great-grandmother probably kept in her cupboard, and baking soda, the humble kitchen companion we use to clean ovens and freshen breath. But together, they do something incredible. And in this video, I'll not only explain how it works, I'll show you exactly how to use it, safely, simply, and effectively, right from your own home. By the end, you'll understand why doctors are speechless, and why nature might just be your best medicine after all. Now, before we dive into how this powerful mixture actually works, let's clear the air, because I can already hear the doubts whispering. Isn't castor oil just an old-fashioned laxative? Isn't baking soda too harsh for the skin? Surely mixing the two isn't safe. These are common misconceptions, and I completely understand them. We've been taught to be skeptical of anything that doesn't come in a prescription bottle. But let's start with castor oil. Yes, it was famously used by mothers everywhere to get things moving. And I've had more than one older gentleman chuckle nervously at the memory. But what they didn't tell you is that castor oil contains a rare fatty acid called ricinoleic acid, a natural anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and pain reliever. When applied externally, it penetrates deep into tissues, stimulating lymphatic flow and cellular repair. I once worked with a gentleman who had chronic knee pain, the kind that flared up every time he stood for more than 10 minutes. His doctor prescribed painkillers and told him it was just part of aging. But after just 5 days of nightly castor oil packs, the swelling eased, the pain dropped, and he was back in the garden tending tomatoes, pain-free. Now, baking soda. Yes, it's alkaline. Yes, it's a cleanser. But when used in moderation and the right proportions, it's also a balancer. It draws out toxins, neutralizes acidity in the skin, and creates an environment where healing can begin. Think of it not as harsh, but as wise. It's the boundary keeper. It makes sure harmful bacteria don't overstay their welcome. And when you combine castor oil's deep tissue repair with baking soda's surface detox, you get a treatment that works both inside and out. So no, this isn't harsh, it's not a gimmick, and it's not just an old remedy. It's the kind of medicine nature intended. Simple, gentle, and surprisingly powerful when given the chance to do its work. And the best part? You don't need a medical degree or a fancy lab coat. Just 2 ingredients you already own, and a little trust in the body's design to heal. Let's look at why this humble duo, castor oil and baking soda, works so effectively. Because once you understand how, you'll never look at these pantry staples the same way again. First, castor oil. Now, this isn't your average kitchen oil. It's made up mostly of a rare fatty acid, ricinoleic acid. What makes it unique is its ability to penetrate deep into the skin, even through multiple layers of tissue. That's quite unusual. Most oils stop at the surface, but castor oil goes further. It gets into the lymphatic system, that incredible drainage network your body uses to remove waste toxins, and excess fluid. When the lymph isn't moving properly, you'll feel it in the form of swelling, stiffness, or even pain. I once worked with a woman who had swollen ankles for years. She'd tried everything, compression socks, pills, even surgery. But after 2 weeks of castor oil packs, her swelling reduced by half. Why? Because we weren't just treating symptoms. We were addressing circulation and detoxification at the root. Now let's talk about baking soda. Chemically speaking, it's sodium bicarbonate. Simple stuff, but it's a marvel of natural design. It helps to regulate pH, keeping things from becoming too acidic. And where there's acidity, there's often inflammation, pain, and bacteria. Baking soda is gently antiseptic too. It draws out impurities, calms irritated tissue, and helps restore the natural balance of the skin. And when you put the two together, something beautiful happens. Castor oil goes deep, stimulating flow and regeneration. Baking soda works at the surface, drawing out toxins, calming inflammation, and helping the body return to a state of alkaline balance. You see, healing isn't about one magic bullet. It's about creating the right environment for the body to do what it was designed to do: heal. So, when people ask, why these two? I simply say, because they work together. Like a gardener and a shovel. One opens the soil, the other removes the weeds. Simple, natural, effective. Now that you understand the why, let's move on to the how, because knowing how to apply this remedy makes all the difference. This is where the magic meets the method. And don't worry, you won't need a lab coat, just a few simple items from your kitchen and a bit of time. Start with your 2 ingredients, castor oil and baking soda. The basic ratio is 3 tablespoons of castor oil to 1 tablespoon of baking soda. You want the consistency to be like a thick paste, smooth but not too runny. Think toothpaste, not pancake batter. Mix it well in a small glass bowl. Never use plastic or metal if you can avoid it. I prefer glass or ceramic, natural materials that don't interfere with the mixture. Now, how you apply, it depends on what you're treating. If it's joint pain, like a sore knee or swollen wrist, simply spread the paste over the area. Cover it with a soft cloth. Flannel works beautifully. Then place a warm, hot water bottle on top. Leave it there for 30 to 45 minutes. If it's digestive troubles or even something like liver detox, apply the pack on the abdomen, just under the rib cage, on the right side. Again, cloth, then heat. Same time frame. For skin conditions like cysts or boils, you can use it as a spot treatment. Apply a little dab, cover it with a bandage or clean cloth, and leave it for a few hours, or even overnight if your skin allows. And now, the most important part, frequency. For chronic issues, aim for 3 to 4 times per week. For acute flare-ups, you can apply it daily for a few days. Just listen to your body. It will tell you when it's had enough. And here's your caution box, straight from experience. Always, and I do mean always, do a patch test before you go full steam ahead, especially if you have sensitive skin. Dab a little mixture on your inner arm and wait 24 hours. If there's redness, itching, or irritation, dilute the castor oil with a bit of coconut oil or reduce the baking soda. You don't want your healing remedy to become a skin drama. I once had a gentleman come to my retreat who was so eager, he slathered castor oil and baking soda from neck to navel. No patch test, mind you, and woke up looking like a tomato. So please, go gently. Healing doesn't rush. This is a natural remedy, but nature is powerful. Respect it. Start slow and let your body guide you. With consistency and care, this little blend can become a powerful ally in your natural medicine cabinet. Now, while this remedy can be incredibly powerful, we always need to consider safety first. Just because something is natural doesn't mean it's always suitable for everyone. First, let's talk about who shouldn't use this. If you have open wounds or broken skin, it's best to avoid using castor oil and baking soda in those areas. The combination can be irritating to sensitive tissue, and you don't want to add any unnecessary strain to the healing process. Also, pregnant women need to be cautious. Castor oil has been known to stimulate contractions and is sometimes used in medical settings to induce labor. Now, I'm not suggesting you'll go into labor from a small application, but it's important to know that this oil is not recommended during pregnancy unless advised by a healthcare professional. It's always better to be safe than sorry when it comes to your little one. Now, if you're someone with sensitive skin, make sure to do a patch test before applying it more liberally. Castor oil is thick and rich, but when combined with baking soda, it can sometimes cause irritation, especially if your skin is prone to reactions. So, start slow. Use a small amount on a discrete patch of skin and wait 24 hours. If all is well, then you can confidently proceed. Another thing to remember is that this combination should never be ingested. I know. It's tempting to think that if something's great for your skin, it must be great for your insides too. But that's simply not the case here. While castor oil has been used as a natural laxative when taken internally, combining it with baking soda in that way is not safe. Trust me, there are much safer ways to support your digestive system. Overuse is another pitfall. You don't want to apply this mix every single day or for extended periods of time. Moderation is key. Too much of a good thing could lead to skin irritation or an imbalance in your body's natural pH. You're looking for balance, not overload, so keep your applications to a reasonable frequency. Lastly, let's talk about castor oil quality. It's very important to always choose high-quality, cold-pressed, pure castor oil. Do not, and I repeat, do not use industrial castor oil that's used for mechanical purposes or in manufacturing. That kind of oil could contain chemicals and additives that you definitely don't want anywhere near your skin. Look for oils that are organic and free from harsh chemicals. The last thing you need is a reaction from a cheap, low-quality oil. So, let's recap here. Always do a patch test, avoid overuse, never ingest the mixture, and be very selective about the quality of your castor oil. If you have any underlying health conditions or concerns, it's always wise to consult with a healthcare provider before starting any new natural remedy. Now, I know that some of you might still be wondering, does this really work? Can it really make a difference for me? And the truth is, I get it. You want results, and you want to be sure that this isn't just another internet fad. So, let's take a moment to dive into some real-life stories. These might just help you see how powerful this simple combination of castor oil and baking soda can be. One of my dear friends, Karen, was struggling with eczema for years. She tried everything: prescriptions, over-the-counter creams, even herbal remedies. But nothing seemed to work long-term. Her skin was always inflamed, dry, and itchy. She started using the castor oil and baking soda combo on a whim after hearing about it at a local wellness seminar. Within just a few weeks, the redness and irritation had started to subside. Her skin began to heal, and what was once a persistent problem was now something she could finally manage without constant medication. Karen swears by this remedy now, and it wasn't just a one-time fix. It was the consistency that brought lasting relief. And then there's Michael. Michael had been battling joint pain for years, specifically in his knees, which made it hard for him to keep up with his daily activities. He had tried all sorts of creams and gels, but nothing ever seemed to last. He read about castor oil's anti-inflammatory properties and decided to give the combo a shot. He mixed the two, applied it as a compress, and after just a few days of use, he noticed a decrease in swelling and pain. Fast forward to today, and Michael's able to do things he once couldn't, like long walks with his dog without feeling sore afterward. But it's not just about eczema and joint pain. I've also heard from countless people who've used this combination to ease muscle inflammation after intense workouts. One woman, Maria, who's a regular at her local gym, shared that after a particularly strenuous leg workout, she had sore muscles for days. She applied the castor oil and baking soda mix, and the next morning, she felt noticeably better. Her muscles were still sore, but the pain was significantly reduced. It was as if the circulation boost helped her recover faster. I know these are personal stories, anecdotes if you will, but they speak volumes. Real people with real struggles who found relief when they least expected it. So, while the science behind castor oil and baking soda is important, sometimes it's these stories that really make us stop and think, maybe this could help me too. The hope and healing that come from natural remedies like this aren't just theories, they're lived experiences. And you know what? I hope one of you watching this today can add your own story to the list. Maybe you'll be the next success story to share. And that, to me, is what makes it all worth it. Now, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this thought. Nature is powerful, and so often, it's the simplest remedies that carry the most profound healing. In this world of pills, potions, and modern-day miracles, it's easy to forget that nature has already given us everything we need to restore balance in our bodies. It's about getting back to the basics, using the gifts that nature offers us in their purest forms and trusting in their wisdom. I've seen countless people completely transform their health simply by turning to the earth's most humble offerings. Whether it's something as simple as castor oil, combined with baking soda, or the wide variety of herbs, oils, and foods that nature has provided, when we use them wisely, they can work wonders. And let me tell you, it's not about magic. It's about understanding how nature's elements work together in harmony. There's a kind of elegance in these simple remedies. They've been around for centuries, passed down from generation to generation. Not because they were trendy or advertised, but because they work. And what we often overlook is that when we tap into these remedies, we are reconnecting with something much deeper than just healing our bodies. We are reconnecting with something much deeper than just healing our bodies. We're reconnecting with a part of ourselves that's in tune with the earth, with its cycles, and with the rhythms that have been sustaining us all along. So, remember, nature holds secrets we've forgotten, and sometimes the simplest ones are the most profound. Castor oil and baking soda, this humble combination, might seem unremarkable at first glance, but when used correctly, they offer us a natural way to heal and restore balance in ways that modern medicine can't always touch. Now, I invite you to explore. Be curious and embrace the natural remedies that have stood the test of time. Nature isn't just a tool, it's a treasure trove waiting for you to rediscover. And as you go forward, I hope this knowledge empowers you to trust nature's wisdom and start embracing the simple, powerful remedies that have worked for generations. Remember, your health doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes it's just a matter of turning back to nature and letting it do its work. Now here's where you come in. Try this for yourself for a week. Yes, a full week. And then come back here and tell me in the comments, what happened? Did you notice a change? I'd love to hear your stories and experiences. And hey, if you know someone who's struggling with inflammation or skin issues, share this video with them. You might just change their week, or even their whole approach to healing. Sometimes, all it takes is one simple step in the right direction to make a world of difference. So go ahead and pass this wisdom along. I'm eager to hear how it works for you. Let's keep this conversation going in the comments.